is it?
Uncle Cullen's pillar. Says it's for research.
On what?
Human evolution. And he's become obsessed with some saint who lived on the top of a pillar in the middle of the desert. I don't know. I have to humour him, don't I?
Oh, look, it's Paul. And the tree tribe. Is he still out there?
2 years.
He needs a holiday.
Needs a girlfriend.
Just for a minute, I didn't really want to talk about my brother's predicament and my uncle's obsession. I wanted to talk about marrying Kendall. So I said something like, enough was enough. She better stop fooling around and commit to me fast before I shriveled up into a pruny old lump. I suppose there were clues that something was off kilter. I mean, even though this was supposed to have been a special weekend between us, Kendall had brought a friend. First thing that occurred to me was we should fix her up with my brother.
Oh, no. No, no, no.
Why not? What's wrong with her?
Oh, nothing's wrong with her.
Why didn't we introduce her to Paul, then?
Look, we all want what's best for Paul. But he is a hermit living in the forest.
He's in a slump.
So by the time he gets out of the slump, we'll find him somebody to love. Until then, he's not having Laurie.
By the time he gets out of the slump, it's going to be too late.
Oh, don't be dramatic.
That's not dramatic. That is not dramatic. This is dramatic!
This is manganese, which is an element. And this is an abandoned manganese mine, 3 miles west to Sachem Farm, still crammed with millions of metric tons of untapped ore. Based on many months of research, I've determined that manganese prices are on the verge of a comeback. That is why I'm buying the mine. One odd bit is I don't know who I'm buying the mine from. Broker won't say, he's insisting on keeping it confidential. To buy the mine, I need to pay for it, of course. And to do that, I'm selling the only asset I have left to the very difficult to get hold of wine buyer, Mr. Harrison Tang.
Green tea smoothie, specialty of the house. You seem to have run out of straws, because that's the best way to drink it, because it's pretty, you know, foamy. Mr. Tang. How impressive yet strangely peculiar of you. I don't actually mean to start off by quibbling, but I've got a wine guide here, and it says that that's worth $700.
This bottle is a very delectable bottle.
Yeah.
But in no way a $700 bottle.
Right. Are you sure?
Mr. Tang was a hard bargainer. He knew what he was doing. I needed to concentrate on what I was doing, a bottle at a time, if I expected to get a good price for the whole collection. Which is round about the moment my concentration wavered.
Russ! There's a disaster brewing on the roof!
Hello? That coming loose, was it?
It's distracting me. I'm taking it down. I need this whole latitude cleared of all extraneous items. I need a clear view. Also, I need the wings for footrests.
That's the problem with talking to you, Uncle Cullen. You're kind of lacking in logic skills, aren't you?
You know, I think what you need is a nice astral projection. Something to loosen you up.
I'd run up to the roof to keep my uncle from falling off. All of a sudden, I wanted to push him. Typical of my family, to make things harder for me at the exact moment I was trying to save them.
Nephew, you have been running around like a monkey on drugs all week long. If you just Calm yourself.
While I was up dealing with Uncle Cullen, my neighbour, Tom, from across the canyon came by. He was a friend of mine. I liked him. Not as much as you could like anyone who walks about like a ghost. It's just that perhaps it wasn't the best time for him to come round. There's a bit of a pathetic story about Tom.
Two Olympics ago. You remember the diver who tripped on his shoelace and broke his ankle the night before his first event? That was Tom. Now he's a carpenter. Just dives on the weekends. In fact, that's all he does. I knew him before I knew Ross. In fact, he introduced us.
Here's the situation. Turns out that Mr. Tang is a meat eater. Steamed vegetable dumplings, they're not going to work. Sticky rice, out. This man needs a ham. Yes? Oh, you can wrap it in banana leaves and you dip it in on the soy sauce and stuff and put the curly beans and everything. As long as there's a ham in the middle of it somewhere, perfect. I'm very happy with that. Tonight, we just need to be carnivores. Nearly ready, Candle.
Have you changed?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking. Why don't we set a date now before you go?
Darling, I think we should worry about getting you out of insolvency before we start going mad with wedding plans. I think that's a better order of events.
Give us a kiss. Sorry. Sick, it's just one kiss. Tide me over.
That Mr. Tang's a freaky piece of cheese.
Yeah, I know. Don't underestimate him, though. His company brokers got really amazing deals sometimes. They don't just do wine. Quite lucky to get him, really. Bit of a fluke.
Have you agreed on the numbers?
There's a bit of haggling left to do, you know, basically, yeah.
Darling, don't let him lowball you.
I won't.
Generosity in this context is not a virtue.
I know.
Would you like me to close the deal for you?
No. No. Now, I've been thinking, and there's something I don't think I was ever really a very good stockbroker. Do you know that? I really don't. And the oil futures, well, it was bad timing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bad time. No, Balinese furniture. I mean, it looked real, didn't it?
They did. Macadamia nuts.
That wasn't my fault. But the manganese, you know, it's like this is my chance to redeem myself. Because for the first time, I've actually got all of the elements in place. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Tang for being here with the sale of Sachem's wine collection. To the Black Orchid Hotel Group, which Mr. Tang's company represents. Paul! You got the message?
What message?
About joining us for dinner. Were you just walking past?
I just thought I'd come in.
Oh, good. Well, sit down. Welcome. Get you a seat.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tang. This is Paul, my brother. He's been out in the garden working overtime.
Hi.
And these are his assistants. So anyway, yes, where was I? Yes, I think I was about to say cheers.
Cheers.
However, before we eat, I have a surprise announcement. Mr. Tang, it turns out, is something of a musician, a guitarist, in fact. And as luck would have it, here at Sachem Farm, we happen to have a guitar gathering dust. So I've persuaded him to play something for us to help set our mood. Mr. Tang?
I think I'm going to need a tuning fork.
Oh, no problem. Ross has perfect pitch.
That's very rare. Close your eyes, Ross. What note is this?
E flat.
What two notes are these?
C sharp and A natural. That's it, you got it.
Don't expect to hear Pepe Romero. Sewell啊，小姐，你去邊度嚟㗎？
啊，先生啊，你鹹濕路啊！
要是找過姑，就是找過羅，啦啦啦啦啦啦，粉雲係佢嘅名。跌跌了跌到跌，跌跌了跌到跌，跌飄跌飄跌飄跌飄飄飄飄。飛仔飛仔飛得得，要人齊死忽。
喂，先生啊，你鹹濕路啊！
要是找過姑，就是找過羅，啦啦啦啦啦啦，粉雲係佢嘅名。跌跌了跌到跌，跌跌了跌到跌，跌飄跌飄跌飄跌飄飄飄飄飄。飛仔飛仔飛得得，要人齊死忽。The end.
I know, it's my appetite.
Have you ever been to Singapore?
It's only for
I've never been, no. Really? I don't travel very much.
I want to. Very cheery. Thank you. It's not a ham, is it? It's a tofu in the shape of a ham. Thanks.
Apropos the subject of my present research, the 4th century Christians and Simeon Stylites, who lived on a pillar in the Syrian desert during the reign of the Roman emperors of the Byzantine period.
Uncle, Mr. Tang has jet lag. Perhaps he doesn't want to use all his energy on a history lesson.
Mr. Tang is a Buddhist. He has a keen spirit and an open mind. It's perfectly natural that he be interested in the life of a man who pared down his existence with such perfection of vision that he lived quite happily on top of a pillar for nearly 50 years.
I'm sorry, Uncle, but what exactly is the relevance of all this?
St. Simeon is more relevant to what is happening in the world today than at any other time in the 16 centuries since he lived.
Yeah, well, I think we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one, won't we?
Better still, let's resolve it with enomancy.
With what?
Enomancy. Oenomancy, enomancy. It's prophecy by the color and sound of poured wine. It was huge in the golden age of Greece. The question is this. Is it possible that a man sitting on a pillow, just sitting and listening and breathing, is it possible that he's relevant to the world in which we now live? Yes or no?
And the answer is?
The circuits seem to be busy.
I asked you to behave tonight, didn't I? I thought you were going to try and control yourself.
I decided against it.
Did you take a look at Paul? Are you happy about that? Are you? He looks like a zombie. I wouldn't be surprised if those Indians are feeding him magic mushrooms.
They're not Indians, they're Hmong, from the hill tribes of Laos. And they happen to be brilliant gardeners.
Yeah, well, I don't like him here.
Oh, by the way, you're Mr. Tang. Fabulous man, comically speaking.
Don't change the subject. We were talking about Paul.
Oh, I thought we were talking about you.
No, we were talking about what you've done to Paul.
The Arboretum gave him a new focus. He needed to apply his talents. I gave him a place to do it in.
Yes, but the end result is, Uncle, you have him isolated in a tree sanctuary. A tree sanctuary! A place absolutely got no contact with the rest of the world. I don't understand what you could have been thinking.
Did you know that understanding was almost the exact opposite of existing?
No, you're babbling, Uncle. You're just babbling. Can't you hear it?
I cannot tell you how sorry I am I ever gave you that wine. I thought you were going to drink it. Why don't you give it back to me?
Too late.
If I had any inkling that you were going to sell it off for a hole in the ground, I'd never have done it.
Don't start criticizing the manganese mine, you old snob. Let me tell you something about manganese. No, it's not gold. It's not platinum, but it is a key ingredient in aluminium alloys, iron, steel, brick, animal feed, laundry detergent, and bloody plant fertilizer.
And with all that to recommend it, it still hasn't managed to teach you the difference between right and wrong.
Right and wrong? What do you know about bloody right and wrong? All you do is just sit here in a vacuum making it all up. I mean, aren't you even embarrassed that you just mooched money off your parents your whole life? You're 72 years old. Isn't it time you went out and got a real job?
I may be self-employed, but that doesn't mean to say I don't work. I have a job, and it's every bit as real as yours.
No, Uncle, you don't have a job. You have a full-time delusion.
I'm not going to let you fritter your life away.
You've been barking up the wrong tree all day, haven't you? Even that bottle of wine you so rudely squandered at dinner told you so, didn't it?
Not necessarily. Apparently, I got hold of the wrong bottle at dinner time. This is the one with the right forecast in it. Doesn't it simply slay you that the one bottle you're looking for is always right at the bottom of the pile? Ross? Ross?
Go away from me, please!
You sure the owner would want you doing that?
Go away from me, please!
Things have started to change. That's all that's happened. You know that deep down, don't you?
No, things have not started to change, Uncle. Things have started to end. Things have been destroyed. In fact, you have managed to destroy the only thing we had left of any saleable value, and you have completely sabotaged me in the process. I am not going to forgive you for this, Uncle. There's going to be no forgiving.
We can't control the way things happen in this world. We can only control how we react to them.
What are you doing here? You're trying to destroy my life. Why are you doing this to me?
Because I'm your uncle, and I love you. Why don't you go and see what you can do for our friend? And then in the next few days, perhaps we can find time to, talk about your problem.
My problem? There's nothing wrong with me, you presumptuous old git.
Well, no, of course not. Well, nothing permanent, anyway.
No, nothing at all. Don't confuse me with one of your damaged relatives. My life actually works. Sachem Farm, on the other hand, is a growing collection of hermetically sealed neurotics. And the not-so-funny part is that the common denominator is you! Darling? What are you doing?
Just wanted to get into the mine. It's padlocked. Just want to have a look inside. I don't know. I just need a bit of inspiration right now, that's all.
What about the insurance? Maybe this whole thing is a blessing in disguise. The insurance company might write you a big check and then we can all call it a day.
Homeowner's insurance doesn't cover senility. He opened every one of those bottles of his own free will.
But they weren't his to open. It was vandalism. Surely that's covered.
But the vandal is my uncle. I'm the vandal's nephew. We are the vandals. The vandals are us. Doesn't count. Well, I suppose what we do know is once you hit rock bottom, you know where you can go but up.
Ah, bad news, darling. There is no bottom.
Tell you what, I think I need to borrow your car. Jeep's run out of gas. I've got to go into town.
To do what?
Well, I'm going to talk to the real estate people. Then I'm going to go to the bank. Colin thinks he's in control around here. Wrong. I'm not going to be beaten by some bloody sociopath.
No. I don't think that's such a good idea at all.
Why? Please. This is not the time for a debate. I just need a bit of moral support now. Are you going to help me or not?
I understand that you are in distress at the moment and not doing your most magnificent thinking. But of all the things you could fault me for and possibly be right about, not helping you is not one of them. I don't go about abandoning people in ugly circumstances. That's not who I am at all. And you think after 4 years of proving it, I deserve better than being turned on because I choose to express a moment's doubt at the advisability of, excuse me for saying, a blind leap into the dubious world that is manganese mining.
Oh, so now you're not even sure about the manganese?
Well, the first half of the plan was perfectly rational. You sell off the wine for pots of cash and then put the money in the bank where you can't lose it again. The wine is gone. That asset has been liquidated. If you are now talking about mortgaging your uncle's house to buy the mineral rights to an obsolete mining operation that nobody has been able to find any value in the last 30 years, then yes, I have a problem. And I'm going to have to raise the red flag and say, hold on, can we please just reassess the situation?
Do you remember that you explained to me something called the sunk cost fallacy?
Yes?
Well, the sunk cost fallacy says that it's a mistake to suddenly pull out something after you've invested so much time, so much energy in it, because at that point, all you can bloody do is lose everything. Well, I believe in that principle. I've tried sticking to it.
No. 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 No, darling. You've remembered it backwards. The sunk cost fallacy says you can't make a decision today based on how good things looked yesterday, no matter how much time or money you've already poured into it. When the data changes, you have to cut your losses and get out. The fallacy part happens when you stay in.
Really?
Yes.
So? I made a mistake. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The manganese is still a legitimate opportunity, and this is where I am going to make my fortune. My losing streak ends right here.
Ross!
Yes.
Your losing streak has just hit an all-time bloody high. Listen to yourself. Manganese. Manganese! Manganese! Even the word is ludicrous. You really think that this is your fortune?
Yes.
Because the way I see it, the odds are better that you will strike a fathomless vein of gold up your own arse.
Listen, if you just let me, I can prove to you how this makes sense. I can prove it.
I don't want you proving things to me anymore. I just want to see you get back on track. That is the extent of my ambition these days. Look at you, you're a mess.
Want to swap cars? I might have to stay the night, but I'll be back first thing tomorrow morning, the latest. I'd love you to come with me, but could you please just stay here and hold down the fort? We're all right, aren't we? Can I borrow some cash? Can I? Thanks. I'll owe you.
Oh, my God, you already do.
Yeah.
Is Ross all right?
He really has the most appalling luck. Boggles the mind. It's like a perversion of the laws of physics. The harder he works, the less he gets out of it.
Tom's been out there all morning.
Oh, yes. He's under a spell.
Is that why you stopped seeing him?
As a matter of fact, I never stopped seeing him. He stopped seeing me. So after the broken ankle fiasco, he just stepped away.
I haven't heard him speak.
No, he's not much of a talker. Not like Ross. I mean, Ross legitimately has an awful lot to say. God bless him, he's a yapper. Tom could give you goosebumps in half a sentence. You can almost remember every word.
Hello?
Hello. The Arboretum. Have a look. Put any 10 people in a room, and they'll all disagree about politics, religion, economics, or business. But put those same people in any one of Paul's gardens, and they'll all agree on beauty.
Ross thinks that Paul's in trouble.
Sweet Ross. Diligent but deluded. He's the one in trouble, of course. I'd like to ask you for your help in getting him out.
Looks like your body fat's dropping. You must be, ooh, what, 3, 4%? I think I'm probably double, triple that. In terms of body fat. More if you count lunch. You know, if there's anything wrong with your dive, I really can't see it.
Are you sure? I felt it was flat.
Flat? Maybe you're hungry. Why don't I ask Chad to go for a walk and I'll make us some really fatty pancakes?
Will everyone be eating?
Ross is in town. Laurie's gone for a walk and Paul's probably in the woods talking to a tree. Just us. If that's too nostalgic for you, you know, you could give it a miss.
I wouldn't feel right about food until I got this kink worked out.
Huh. We didn't know they were here until the jackhammer started at 7.
Bloody hell.
They said it's been ordered for a month.
Excuse me. Excuse me, you in charge? What is going on?
We're putting up your pillar.
What? We've already got a pillar.
That's the sample size.
Samples. How big is that one supposed to be?
It's 20 cubits.
What do you mean, cubits?
Cubits? Well, like they measured stuff in the Bible.
Why am I not finding this funny?
Look, I know it's wiggy, but the customer ordered it in cubits, and the customer's always right.
So, what you're telling me is that you took at face value a senile old man who placed an order in units of measurement that haven't been in use since the fall of the Roman Empire. And what have you done to this bloody lawn? Look at it.
Are you Ross?
Yes, and why?
I'm supposed to give you this.
Have you seen this? Any idea how much it's going to cost us?
You get what you pay for.
Yes, but what are we paying for, and what are we paying for it with?
We'll double our money in a week. I speak in metaphors, of course.
It's going back. It's going back.
Well, I doubt that.
You can doubt it till you're blue in the face. I'm going out there right now. I'm going to tell them it's going back.
You'd have better luck arguing a nuclear missile back in its silo than trying to persuade those men to undo the work they've just finished.
Hello? 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 Oh, hello. Sorry, I'm looking for Paul.
泡在里面，请进。
I don't want to go and get him. Can you bring him out here, please?
Hello, Ross.
Do you know how frustrating it is not to be able to speak English as your first language in your own home?
You're overreacting.
Well, how come it's so difficult to get hold of you?
Oh, you could have just come in.
Didn't want to come in. What's going on in there? Is it some kind of cult or something? You're a cult leader, are you?
It's not a cult, it's just gardening.
You're all right, by the way. A bit worried about you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Are you all right?
Me? Why wouldn't I be all right? Anyway, I wanted to ask you a favor. Now the wine's gone, I don't really have many choices left, and I need to get a large amount of money very quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to lose the manganese, so the only thing I can think of is maybe get a loan on the house. So, I need to ask you and Uncle Cullen if you can maybe give me your signatures, since all three of our names are on the deed.
What does Uncle Cullen say?
I haven't had the chance to ask him yet.
Okay.
Really?
If you need it, I'll sign it.
Thank you so much. Hiya.
I just loved your elephant.
I used to come here when I was little and used to hide things, all sorts of things in the trunk.
Maybe you left something in him.
I wouldn't have thought so. It was a long time ago.
When's the last time you looked?
15 years ago. Oh my God. Here's something. I think Kendall would probably tear my tongue out for me saying this, but I really think that you would be so good with my brother, Paul. Don't let all that hermit stuff throw you off. I think he's some kind of genius, actually. All I meant was if you felt like taking a stroll up there, maybe you could have a chat with him. Might help take him out of this place he's got himself into. He's a very nice guy.
I'll talk to Paul if you play the guitar for us.
No, I'm sorry. I haven't played the guitar in front of anyone for 4 years, so... He's seriously trying to make a deal with me, but... You're not the person I thought you were at all. Apologise in advance, this hurts anyone's ears, but... Made a little arrangement with Laurie earlier on this afternoon. This is my end of it. Let's give it a go.
sometimes miss me. Sorry. Life is such a mystery.
And you wrote that music.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Tell us, Ross. Why precisely did you give up the guitar?
Well, someone in this family had to grow up, didn't they?
Let's try that again. Why did you give up the guitar?
I told you, someone in this family had to get a bit of responsibility. Who else was going to look out for you, Paul Sachem? Who else was going to stop you from taking the miserable amount of money you had left and squandering it on plexiglass pillars and $250,000 arboretums?
What?
Yeah, that's where all this money's been going. Ever hear anything more whacked in your entire life? Taking hundreds of hugely expensive trees and sticking them in a bloody forest?
And you let this happen?
Trees were for the trees were for the arboretum was for Paul.
Which brings us back to where we started. Why did you give up the guitar? Just one reason. Just give me a reason.
Well, I don't think Kendall would have been very happy marrying an unemployed musician for a start. There's one reason.
Hold it! I never asked you to give up playing your music.
So why did you give up the guitar?
Leave me alone.
Why?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Go away. Why don't you just go away? No one's gonna miss you.
Just tell us, what force in creation is strong enough to persuade someone who can play the guitar you just played to dump their guitar in a cellar?
Fear, all right? Fear. I was afraid. Is that such a big revelation? Is that what you want? Are you happy now that I was afraid?
Whatever he does, however rich he is, and who he turns into, I have my doubts that she intends to marry you.
Uncle, can I talk to you for a moment?
Sorry, I just ran out of talking time.
I want to talk to you. Why are you running away? Uncle Cullen?
I'm really dreadfully sorry.
Uncle Cullen, stop. Uncle... Uncle? Look, you're just embarrassing yourself. Shit. Ow! Oh my... No! Uncle Colin, no! Look at this. Do you believe this? Well, that's it. I'm going to tell Char not to set him up any more food. Starve him off.
How's he going to the bathroom?
Oh, Char's been setting him up a bedpan.
Oh.
I don't understand. What am I going to do?
Well, I think you should bloody go up there and sort it out.
Hmm. Yeah.
are dry, but they're bloodshot. I have faith in medication. I believe in the Prozac nation. You play doctor, but I've lost patience. This is where it ends. This is where it ends. Where's my pride? Where's my self-esteem? Does it show in the drinks I bought? I don't hide every time I'm seen, but I try not to get caught. Make excuses for behavior. Can my illness be my savior? Hit my heart while you still gave yours. This is where it ends. This is where it ends. She says she wants to live in a movie. I say I want someone else to stand behind me and write it all down. 'Cause I can't be bothered doing it myself. And I don't want the responsibility of proving its importance. I have loved and I have waited, been picked up and been sedated. Mental health is overrated. This is where it ends. This is where it ends.
You know, you're going to get yourself killed up here.
I'm perfectly safe.
Why don't you just come down at night? You know, you could roll off in your sleep.
I won't roll.
Uncle Cullen, what are you doing up here?
Stilling the thought waves of my mind. It's completely normal. All around the world, older persons finally get the point and learn to stop frantically doing things and just sit still. In Christian Ethiopia, old men become monks. In Hindu India, retirement to a yogic life is commonplace. And in the Buddhistic countries, Thailand, China, Sri Lanka, Japan, old age and spiritual promotion go hand in hand.
Yes, but you're not actually in any of those countries, Uncle Cullen. And you're none of these people. And you will never be a holy man. You'll only ever really be an oddball.
I take it this isn't a social visit.
No, I'm here on business. I hope that doesn't upset you.
Well, the only upsetting thing about your being here on business is that you're not a businessman. Has it never occurred to you that the reason that everything you touch goes wrong is because you insist on touching the wrong things? You've got to learn what you were put on this earth for. And here's a piece of information you can take to the bank. You weren't born to be the manganese king.
I need your help. I need you to lend me the house.
Haven't I already done that?
Yeah, just on paper, though. If you could just lend me, sign the mortgage over to me. You know you owe me.
Why don't you give up what we'd all have to agree by now is a tortuously complicated scheme to sell off bits and pieces of Sachem Farm and simply live here? It's a big place. Room enough for all of us.
Yeah, well, perhaps when I am your age, I will give everything up and find Nirvana and just live there. But first, I have to actually get some things before I can give them up.
You don't have to do it the hard way. I'm trailblazing for all of us.
Trailblazing? What does that mean? Uncle Cullen, what are you doing up here?
Getting the far perspective, preparing to communicate the results.
Communicate what results to who? How do you communicate from the top of a pillar?
Simeon did it.
That's not an answer. Why don't I believe that you, sleeping on top of a pillar, is going to turn you into a saint?
I'm only aiming for human being. It's hard for you, I realize that.
Just sign the mortgage. Paul did it.
Well, I wouldn't have expected anything less of him.
You'd be really helping me.
I'm hoping to do more than help you. I'm hoping to teach you.
There's nothing I want to learn. I just want my life back.
But every wise man who's ever lived has known that the only sure way of getting what he wants is to stop trying.
Don't talk in riddles. You're not the bloody Dalai Lama. You're just a nut job on the top of a plexiglass pillar.
Why does my being up here disturb you so much?
Doesn't disturb me. Doesn't disturb me. It's pointless. It's just ridiculous. All you're doing is just sitting there.
As opposed to running around down there hoping to strike it rich.
Yeah, well, at least I'm trying to be productive.
I think the world could use a few more people capable of sitting still and shutting up instead of scrambling around hoping to produce things. I realize that sitting still is a radical challenge, but it's worth the effort.
Oh, yes, you're quite the radical uncle. You're quite the revolutionary. If I agree with you on that, will you please come down?
You've got to stop beating your head against a wall. All you're doing is giving yourself a headache.
Let me tell you something. What I choose to do or not to do is none of your business.
That's whoppingly wrong. I've stayed out of your decision-making process for far too long already, and look at the result. No, I'm terribly sorry, but like it or not, it's time for me to get very involved in your life, right down to the molecular level. It would have been a tragedy for you.
No. Absolutely not. I'm not risking my life climbing up that flimsy rope. Would you? You know, let him come down if he needs to speak to me so bloody urgently. Oh, for goodness sakes.
I have a proposal to make. I need you to get in touch with Mr. Tang and invite him back.
Why? Have you found someone else's wine collection you'd like to pour down the drain?
I'm putting together an event that I think he'd like to be here for.
Well, I doubt he's interested in seeing you now.
Now, Mr. Tang is an impresario. He's interested in what's interesting. I'd like you to make sure that he gets this note.
That's it? That's why you brought me up here? To get a note to Mr. Tang?
Oh, and various other bits and pieces. By tomorrow afternoon.
You can't pick these things up in a hardware store. I've no idea how to get this kind of equipment.
Well, you have the reputation for being an organizational genius. Make a few calls.
Why on earth should I bother?
Because you've been known to appreciate a good plan of action from time to time.
I thought your plan of action was sitting still.
Well, I'm bending the rules for a worthy cause.
Is this for us? How are you intending on paying?
Me? Oh, I don't have a cent to my name. Oh, no, you're going to pay.
Me? Are you mad? This'll cost a fortune.
Aren't we lucky you're loaded?
What? A fantastic hypocrite you are. Can't stand my money, but the minute you need an infusion, who do you send for?
I've no problem with your money. You've worked hard earning it, as far as I can tell. You haven't left anybody else for dead along the way, have you? No. The real challenge facing you now is working out how you're going to spend it. But money is really only a form of congealed energy. Unleash it the right way. And who knows? A blast of pure love. So, do we have a deal or don't we?
Okay. Here's how it works. The art of a deal stipulates that you have to offer me something in return for whatever it is you'd like me to fork over. And I guarantee, yes, there's nothing you have that I want. As always, Uncle Cullen, it's been bizarre. Catch you later.
I can give you back Tom. I can give you Tom.
What do you mean?
What I say.
You're making this up as you go along.
Am I?
Tom, in case you hadn't noticed, is living out his life on the end of a diving board. His interface with reality has come undone.
And the question you want to put to me is, do I know how to patch him back in? That is really why you came up here to see me, isn't it? For a consultation.
No, I came up here because you asked me to.
Who's the young girl with the old soul?
What?
Who's Laurie?
She's just a girl I met.
And why did you bring her here with you?
She's sweet. I thought it might be nice to bring her along.
I think you brought her here because you had an idea that she'd be the perfect girl for Ross.
I'm not that generous.
I think you are. So, back to you and Tom.
No, stop it. Tom shut me out a long time ago.
Kendall, I'm going to tell you something very important now. And I want you not to overreact. Life is a long experience of suffering, disappointment, and chaos. But the moment you stop squirming against the catastrophe of being alive, music flies out of the dog-do.
Do you see me squirming, Uncle Cullen?
You squirm gorgeously, my dear, but squirm you do, just like everybody else. You don't have to believe me, you just have to trust me. So, you run off and find your wallet, take care of my list, and let's start pooling our resources.
$27,000. It's a lot of money. It's completely irrational. I can't do it. $27,000 is not that much money. It's completely irrational. I still can't do it.
Alexander Graham Bell, when he invented the telephone, he wanted people to answer, "Ahoy." It kills me.
Were you looking for me?
Everyone looks for perfection, but there's no such thing.
What do you mean?
Let me rephrase that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Russ?
I'm not coming up there anymore. It's too dangerous. We'll just have to talk on the walkies from now on. Is that right?
I have no objections.
Oh, yeah. Look, I want to apologise about the other night. I don't know what I was doing. I guess it must have been some kind of temporary insanity.
You've been under a lot of stress.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, it's your house. You're very much alive in it. And I'm going to have to find some other way to work out my problems. So what I've been thinking is I want to leave. I mean, I need to make a fresh start. I need to leave here. I need to go someplace else, get myself a job, find my own place. Even if it means sleeping in a tent for a while.
Well, let me tell you something. You already have a place of your own. You have Sachem Farm.
Yeah, well, thank you, Uncle Colin. That's really sweet of you.
Stop talking, Russ. What I'm telling you is that you already own Sachem Farm.
What?
You might have bet wrong, you know. I mean, I could just put the house on the market, sell it to the first bidder, buy the manganese, and never talk to you again.
You could try, but you might find the last part a little more difficult than you'd imagine.
More difficult how?
Can you see a blue folder at the back of the safe?
Yes?
Open it.
You own the mine?
Since well before you were born.
So this whole time I've been trying to buy the manganese off you.
I put my faith in Allah, nephew, but first I tie my camel to the post.
Hello.
Hi. Fancy going for a little walk? Thanks, by the way, for talking to Paul. How did he seem to you?
Happy. Arboretum's finished.
This used to be a jungle. I think my brother is some kind of genius.
I think you're right.
Still kind of worry about him being alone.
He's not alone. Maya. She's your sister-in-law.
Ross! It's good to see you here. Come help me carry this. Okay. Why don't you test it out? Sit down for a few minutes. Let me know how it feels.
You know something? I still can't work out what that pillar's for.
Why don't you ask your uncle?
I already have.
Well, maybe you should ask him again. Why don't you call him?
Yes, Ross.
Yeah, this is me. How's everything going on up there?
Everything's coming along very nicely.
All right, well, I'm sitting here with Laurie, and there's a few questions I wanted to ask you.
Ask me your first question.
All right. First question is, what did you do to Tom?
His karma was constipated. I gave him an enema.
Right. My second question. Do you know that Paul was married?
How could I miss it? I follow your brother's life with great interest.
Why didn't anyone tell me?
We didn't think you were strong enough to handle it at the time. Now ask me one more question and then we're finished.
It have to be something I've asked you before, Uncle. What is the pillar for?
It's just a place to sit, albeit the best seat in the house. Why don't you come and have a look?
What's going on? Who are all these people?
Well, it's quite a nice audience, don't you think?
Audience? What do you need an audience for?
Me? Oh, they're not here for me. They're here for you.
What do you mean they're here for me? Why would they be here for me?
They've come for your concert.
Mr. Tang! You're a jolly good sport for coming.
Thank you for finding me. The pleasure is all mine.
Oh, the delivery man. All the fun happens at once.
I have never seen anybody spend this kind of money to tape a home concert. It's a real act of faith.
Yeah. Don't rub it in.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, nephew, but everything's ready for you now.
Right. I don't think I can do this. I don't know what made me think I could do this. I can't go through there. I can't.
I'll show you the way.
You know I have nothing.
Turns out that's all I need.
So easy to lose perspective on your life. It's also not as hard as you'd think to get your perspective back. I thought I was saving my family. But it turns out my family saved me.